Welcome back, Shalligators. Well, we're back to continue talking about the who's who of Nobody Cares. The Good Morning America anchors who've been boning each other for months, if not years, and now they're like in love and it's so great. Too bad they were actually cheating on their spouses. Who are they? What's her name? Amy Robach and TJ McGillicuddy? Who fucking care? I don't care. But I do care in all that this can teach us about dating and love and life, and especially work. So last video, we talked about signs that your boyfriend or husband's work wife is real bad. And I pinned a comment from one of you guys, and it was like, work wife is the term a man gives to a girl he's basically open to cheating with. I'm sorry, but I can't dispute that. Like, the fact that you're applying such a revered word to somebody, and listen, you can be like, it's a joke, it's in jest. Is it? Words have a lot of power. And with a word, with a title, comes a lot of behaviors as a sort of subconscious result. You know, you give a lot more leeway to someone you consider a wife, a hubby, a best friend, a sister, blood relative. Think about the weight of those words. And think about why someone might choose to use them and where that could maybe move next. So that's what we covered in the last video. In this one, we're going to talk about when you be the baddie. No, not a bad guy, but when you fall for a coworker. Is it smart to date someone you work with? There's a lot of schools of thought that say, yeah, 2/3 of people marry someone they met at work. Did you know that? Very interesting. But I, ever the contrarian, would like to point out a different statistic. Perhaps it's related, I don't know. 2/3 of people also get divorced. Are these completely correlative? I don't know. But it's interesting to consider, isn't it? So I'm going to give you the pros and cons of dating someone you work with. I climbed a huge corporate ladder in my life in New York City. I moved there to the city not knowing one person, and I left as the editor-in-chief of a national magazine. So when I tell you how to get up a corporate ladder, I know because my ass was climbing it. So I can tell you, but before we get into it, I can also tell you guys about some philanthropy, giving back we're doing this holiday season. I told you guys last time there's 3 different things you can get involved in. Kids, dogs, jungle animals, jungle boogies, whatever your freaky thing is. So the first thing, kids, I have linked a whole bunch of fundraisers through this company called Donors Choose. It's basically teachers who need supplies for their classrooms. I try to focus on needs involving hunger or warmth, like gloves and snacks and breakfast and stuff like that, cleaning supplies, which I know, it's crazy. Teachers shouldn't have to ask us, the public, for Kleenex, but this is where we're at. Our tax money doesn't go to schools. It goes to fucking missiles, okay? So here's where we're at. So if you want to help kids, go ahead and click down there. A lot of these fundraisers can be completed for like $50, $100. That really does mean a lot though to these teachers in low income areas. And they're not like private schools. Like I'm picking places where like at least half of the population of that school is living below the poverty line. So this really does go a long way. Snacks mean a lot to people because you can't learn if you're hungry. Speaking of hungry, one of our Shalligators, Jerry Beth Silva, who lives in Venezuela, goes into her own pocket and into her own time to rescue dogs and cats and get them medical attention and adopted out on the streets of Venezuela. Even $5 really makes such an impact. Her GoFundMe is linked down there. And if you want to help jungle animals, a reserve in Costa Rica called Kids Saving the Rainforest that I had the opportunity to visit so I could see firsthand all of the incredible work they do to rehab everything cute with a snout. Monkeys, sloths, anteaters, coatis, raccoons, anything that you just want to put all the way in your mouth, just stuff it in your mouth because you just love it so much. They are doing really amazing things, and they're the only such organization in like a 3-hour radius. So they really are boots on the ground, helping preserve these beautiful animals in such a beautiful place. So it would mean a lot. If my advice helped you, please pay it forward. Again, even $5 makes such a difference. Also, if you're feeling a little less than lovey-dovey, maybe a little bit more evil, I got you on that front too. Evil Week is now live and available to binge on the Shallontourage. So the Shallontourage is a daily text service from me. You get like 5 Text a week. We do Evil Monday, Wisdom Wednesday, Slutty Saturday, Fuckboy Friday. I do long form blogs, extra episodes, bonus podcasts, and plus I'm on Chit Chats with you guys. We talk a whole bunch. It's really fantastic. And you can go ahead and sign up and save 25%. And yeah, you get access to all of Evil Week on there, plus all of my Alpha Academy sexy session hookup tutorials. So you can learn how to be evil and learn how to fuck. It's great. Who doesn't want that? Okay, let's not talk about TJ and Amy. These two are like not sorry. Like every report that's coming out of this is like, they're not ashamed. And they've even joked on their show. I guess they're co-anchors on Good Morning America. Like, no, I don't care. Don't care at all. They're like, oh, been a great week. Yeah, you know whose week probably wasn't great? Your spouses. Now, Amy she's just finalized, I guess, her divorce from this 90s actor, Andrew Shue. Is whatever. But I don't know that that's TJ's case. And he seems to be married to a very normal, nice person. She's an immigration lawyer. I don't think this has been a great week for her. And to be so callous and cavalier about the worst thing that those two innocent spouses are going through, like, turns my fucking stomach. Like, hey, I get it. I get it. Feelings happen. You catch feelings. We're going to explore that in this whole video. That's the whole point. But maybe have a modicum of respect for the people who actually had also caught feelings for you, the people they married. Maybe they had some feelings involved in this as well. And this isn't all like sunshine and puppy dogs and LOLs and memes and retweets. It's something that will change who they are forever, because that's what cheating does to us. And if you join the Shallon Entourage and if you watch Evil Week, I have a whole video on how to get revenge on a cheater. And I also have a video on how to ruin your ex's new relationship, because it's something of a specialty of mine. I don't like to brag. I'm great at making gnocchi and I'm great at ruining my ex's new relationship. Anyway, so that's TJ and Amy. And you know, I'm sorry. I don't view this as an adorable, great love story. I view it as two weak, selfish people hurting other people to get their dicks wet. And okay, whatever. But listen. You might be in this dick wet category, right? Work is tricky business. I touched on this last video and in other videos that we as women, part of our fundamental reptile caveman hardwiring is to fall for the most mateable male in any population. In any population, right? It's a survival mechanism. Back when we were like cave dwellers and we needed a man to get through the winter, to kill the food, to defend it. Like, we needed a man. This wasn't a preference. We were like, hey, I'm going to choose the best of what's around, right? And so we have that evolutionary leftover still swimming around inside of us, right? And the way this typically manifests is a work crush. Now, I told you guys, like, I had a work crush when I was at Star. And I was like, oh, he's so dreamy. Well, he was the dreamiest. But you put him in any bar in New York City or any gym. And it was like, huh? Oh, no. I'm okay. Thank you. No, that's fine. Like, no chance I would have looked at him twice. No chance. But he was the most mateable. And I think that there's also something to be said that because that evolutionary hangover stems from the need to be protected and provided for, this guy that I had a crush on also was protecting me a lot in the workplace. I saw him as an ally who ran interference between the main boss who hated me and my job. So there was hugely an element there of protection. So if you're dealing with a work crush, ask yourself, does that kick anything up? Is there an element of like, he's got my back, he knows me, he's standing up for me? We're all just cavemen at the end of the day, right? We act like, oh, everything I'm feeling, it's so new and no one can relate. Bitch, ain't nothing new under the sun. At the end of the day, we're all just running around in our lion skin outfits with our clubs and our sloped brows, trying to mate and get fed. And if we can acknowledge that, everything honestly seems a lot easier. Why think that everything we're experiencing is complicated and new and no one could help us? Why do you want to think that? Because you need to think you're special? You are special, but not because of this. Like, you're special like a snowflake, whatever. this is not what makes you special, okay? This is what makes you not the exception, but actually the rule. And again, once you accept that, you can gain mastery over these feelings and at least feel like, okay, I'm choosing to be in this dynamic versus this is a runaway train, right? That's not a healthy, empowering alpha way to feel. So I get why we have work crushes. It's a geographical monopoly, if nothing else. We're simply around them a lot. I mean, you get to know a guy at work so much more than you would get to know, and faster, and in a more 360 kind of way than you would get to know a Tinder date, sitting across from them at a table at Dave & Buster's drinking a vodka soda, like shotgunning questions at them. You see how someone is. You see their flaws. It's show, it's not tell. And when we can learn someone that way, we bond more, which is why, I give you guys dating advice. What's a great date? Something interactive. Bowling. How does someone react when they don't win? How does someone react to an athletic challenge? I'm actually dating someone and we're going on a trip soon, like next week. And we're very new, but my friends are like, because I was like, is this moving too fast? They're like, no, I think it's good for you to see how you travel with someone and how someone is when they travel, because it's a data dump. How do they react under stress in a new environment, when something doesn't go their way, like around strangers? Get all this now, because if you ask someone, what do you think they're going to say? Oh, I absolutely freak the fuck out if I can't print a boarding pass. No, like they're going to be like, oh, I'm great. But that ain't always the case. So when you can see that, the bonding, I mean, it goes deeper, because you have more data and therefore you can trust your assessment of someone more and you can trust your feelings and you fall even harder. But should we date people we work with? No! No! I don't know. I mean, I should end the video here. No. Do you know why? Listen. If you were a man, if I was a dude, what would my name be? Sebastian? I love that name. That's what my mom's going to name me. If we were all dudes here, right? And we were all corner office motherfuckers, I'd be like, sure, date your fucking secretary. Who cares? She gets it. She understands your job. She understands how important you are. She puffs you up. She's got that egg salad sandwich for you, right? Because, hey, we'd be the apex predators, right? White men in America, even black men in America, just men. Paint them purple. They're still going to outrank a fucking woman, right? So if I was talking to men, I'd be like, yeah, whatever, date somebody you work with. Who cares? It's not going to affect us. It's not going to hold us down. It's not going to solidify that glass ceiling above us because we don't have one. We're men. That is not our reality. I have said for a long time that I'm the kind of feminist who tells equality to go fuck itself. Equality? I don't want to be equal. I want to be treated better because of things like this. Because life actually isn't equal. Physically, I think we can all agree women aren't equal to men. A 10-year-old boy could kill me. He could, I'm not ever going to be equal to a man. And excuse me for saying, I mean, don't even, it's a whole other video. But things like this are basically the same thing. When, and very often it is a when, not an if an office relationship goes south, but when it goes south. Do you know who's going to suffer? Not him, baby girl. I've got news for you. Not him. Because he will, if let's say it goes bad, real bad, you are going to be painted as crazy, emotional, and that's probably exactly how you're going to feel. Who the hell wants to spend 10 hours a day around their ex? And they're doing work, and a boss that they hate, and Janet in accounting, and that is a nightmare scenario. I am in a constant state of having a broken heart, and work was my respite. It was my relief from my divorce, from breaking up with Max, like all of those things. Like, I was so thankful I had my work to go to. And it was a place where I was being judged not on how well I cooked dinner or how well I was in bed. It was, I could win. I could win that. I could do good and get an A+ and turn my work in and be like, yes. Like, I felt like I had like a path in an otherwise pathless time in my life when I just felt like a failure and a weakling and unloved and unusable and useless in this world. And work was my escape. I cannot imagine the hell if those two things were combined. I can't imagine it. Nor can I imagine realizing what a hell it would be to break up with someone I was dating at work and then trying to avoid that outcome. I can't imagine how small I would have made myself, how my standards would have gone down, how I would have gaslit myself and allowed myself to be gaslit, because I would not want to face the scenario of going into work with my ex. I would have done anything to avoid that because it would seem so unbearable. And it would have been. You know, I would have allowed myself to stay in a pretty shitty toxic relationship if that person was in my office. Because when that relationship left, he would have taken everything with him. Everything. Now, of course, I lived in New York, and New Yorkers are workers. Like, our job is our identity. Do you know how long it took me when I moved to Montana to stop making, so what do you do? My first question to someone, and my friends were like, you have to stop. Like, it comes across as literally so rude. And I'm like, why? It's what you spend 40, 50 hours a week doing. Like, you're not allowed to ask about that? I think that's weird. And they're like, I know, but it's a very New York thing. It's not what we do here. I'm like, but in New York, it's your whole life. Like, what the fuck are you doing in New York? You're like, I don't know, I'm just doodling around. That city would chew you up and spit you out. So I say this because work was everything. Work is your identity. It is your purpose. It's everything. And I knew that if I dated someone at my office and it went south, number one, he would be fine. I would be the one like looking crazy, crying at my desk. I would. I know who I am. I know how I am. I can't brush it off and compartmentalize it like that when I'm seeing this person constantly all day long. And I was never, ever, ever willing to risk work. I am a hoe and a half. And I love boys. I always have. I'm boy crazy. I think about boys and sex constantly, 24 hours a day. That's why I do this job. But I don't date at work. I don't. I never have. I mean, I dated my intern one time when I worked in a men's magazine, but he'd already quit. And I made sure like his internship was over before we got involved. Because I'm like, I have worked too hard for this. I am too lucky. I am too opportunistic. I am too Machiavellian to let this dude undo what I have worked so hard for. And that's why I became and stayed successful. It is. I watch so many girls get so messy. And listen, maybe these girls never even dated the guy they had a crush on, but they had a crush. And listen, a little bit of a crush is a good thing. It gives you that little extra sprinkling of trying at work. You're looking a little better, you're walking a little taller, you're maybe a little bit more eloquent in a meeting. Great. Use it to your advantage, but know when it's taking that turn into something that is now going to be to your detriment. For example, you're a little more eloquent in a meeting, but are you now a little hesitant to bring up new ideas that might be like, that's a dumb idea, Shallon, because you don't want your crush to hear and think you're stupid? Are you keeping yourself small to stay attractive? Are you spending too much time getting ready? Are you wearing uncomfortable outfits that are distracting you when you're sitting at your desk and you can't focus on your work? I mean, think about it. It's a very, very slippery slope. It's a very slippery slope. And yeah, you know what? Like we said, 2/3 of people marry folks they meet at work. I know it. I've seen it so many times, you know? And now we know it's because of our evolutionary hangover from our caveman days and the mateability thing. But listen, if 2/3 marry people they meet at work, someone's making it out alive. You know, it's not torpedoing some people's career. First of all, isn't it? Everything comes at a price. So now you're married. Are you really going to go up against your husband for that promotion? Are you going to call him out and mean, excuse me, Jeff, those numbers were wrong. No, you didn't run them right. And also that was my report. That should be a fun dinner tonight. He might do that to you because what are men hardwired to do? Provide, protect, work. Women, What are we told to do? Kate Slade, live, laugh, love. Oh my gosh. Men communicate to solve problems. Women communicate to build relationships. At work, I am sure you could see how that beats out for the both of us and why men get to run the world. And we don't. Because we're building relationships. I get questions from you guys. I want to have more friends at work. Why? Have friends outside of work. I have never gotten that question from a dude. Like, I don't mean like from you guys like asking me questions. Like my guy friends. I just wish I was friends with more guys at work. They're like, I give a fuck. Like I'm there to work. Exactly. And that's why he's out earning us. That's why he's in Congress and I'm in the fucking kitchen. Big, big difference. Okay? But let's say things go right. Let's say things go right and you got loved up and it's fantastic. How boring. First of all, I would put a bullet in my head if I had to date another YouTuber, okay? I love what I do, but it's for girls. It's for girls. I don't want a man who's like, rise and grind, fam, bless up. I would kill myself. Well, no, I wouldn't kill myself. I'd kill him. I need to live. I couldn't do it, you know? And it's tricky because I've spoken to you guys before. Like, this is an isolating, lonely career. It is. It's beautiful, and I have you guys, but in terms of coworkers, like peers who can understand what this is like, very few and far between, very isolating. So in one sense, it would be great to date someone who understood this. I actually did. Like last year, I dated a YouTuber. He's very young. And for a while, like, yeah, like it was really cool to be on that level. But there was an element of competitiveness, right? I mean, I was winning. But that's the thing. Like he said he was going like pro to be a gamer and he had like 5,000 followers. It's like, that's adorable. Okay. And that made me kind of respect him less. I'm like, you think you can go, okay, baby, that's cute. That's cute. Like we were competing a little. How do you not? How do you not when you're in the same industry? Even if you do completely different things, that's still there. Unless you want to dial it down and keep it sweet and let's elevate him. I'm not exactly built that way. No. So there can be a loss of respect. There can be ego clashes, competition, thing like that. Like I said, what if it just goes good? What if that's not what if it's like Jim and Pam from The Office? They weren't in each other's paths or whatever. I mean, they were for a minute when she was trying to be a salesperson. Do you think Jim helped her? I don't remember seeing that. He just threw her to the wolves like, I'm putting Dwight Stapler in Jell-O. Like, he's such a clown. Such a beta male. The fact that people stand that couple, like, grosses me out. They're both such betas. Like, stay in Scranton, Pennsylvania. That's exactly where you guys belong. But even if it goes right, again, how boring. You again. I just saw you. I saw you all day. And before that, I saw you in the morning. And before that, it was last night. Before that, it was yesterday at dinner. Everywhere I turn, there you are. First in my house, and then in my office, and then in the car. And then we go to lunch together. And then you want to be inside my body, and then you're still in my house. For some people, this seems great. I mean, I don't know. I cannot help but see people who like that much togetherness as so incredibly codependent. Just this like closed loop of like, we can never be alone. That is my worst nightmare. That is my worst nightmare. I was telling my friends the other day, like, I really do like this guy I'm dating. And, you know, one of my best friends is dating someone. We were just talking about like, would you get married again? Because she's divorced also. And we were both like, I don't know that I get married again. And I really don't think I would live with someone. I just don't. I like my space. I like running my own home for my particular use. You know who I had to ask about this? Nobody. I have 6 Christmas trees and nobody is going to tell me otherwise. Nobody. It's my money. It's my house. It's my real estate. It's my land. It's me. I like that. That doesn't mean I can't fall in love with someone. It means I've already fallen in love with myself. Sorry. Because you know who I'm with 24 hours a day? Oh my God, it's me. You know who's going to be there when I died? Me. You know who's there when I was born? Also me. So who do you think I have a responsibility to please and delight and entertain? Me. Good news is my boyfriend doesn't have that responsibility. I have it. He's an addition, he's an enhancement, but that is not his purpose on this earth, and vice versa. And when you're with someone 24 hours a day, that can get a little blurry, can't it? Where he ends and you begin, I don't know. Where work ends and personal life begins. Oh. I think we can all look at couples who like have kids and they're stressed about the kids and their individual dynamic between themselves has become this like sort of roommate. They're co-parents, but are they lovers still? Are they best friends? Are they spouses? No. You know, like that's a hard thing for people to admit, but if you look at the writing on the wall, that is what it is. They're talking about the kids. That's the only thing that they really have in common. I can see that easily happening with people who work together. Wouldn't you just default to talking about work? And again, it's great to have someone who knows Janet in accounting and your horrible boss and this and that. That's great. But I do think, I mean, it comes at a price. When someone is all up in your life and they know everything about it, they're all up in your life and they know everything about it. One of my own personal hells is to be fully understood. I never want that. I don't want someone to ever know all of my stories, all of my history, all of my jokes, all of my goals. I want to keep it fresh. I want to keep it popping. I want to keep diversifying myself. If I feel like I'm a foregone conclusion to someone, I start to feel like a foregone conclusion to myself. And then I stop being curious. I stop working. It's like, oh, here she goes again with that story. No, I know. You skinned your knee. You were 12. The bike flipped over. Blah, blah, blah. We've heard about it, Shallon. I want discoverability in myself, and I want it in my partner. Boredom, the devil's workshop. The devil's workshop. I am terrified of boredom. I mean, it's something I talk about in therapy. Like, I am pathologically terrified of boredom to the point where I will create my own problems just to feel stimulated. I'm working through it. But I know this about myself. And so therefore, I know someone who worked in my industry or my office, there's not enough discoverability there. There is the inverse of discoverability. What's on the opposite end of that spectrum is seenness. Like they see you and they know this person, they know the industry, they know the struggles. Great, but the underside of that coin is a lack of discoverability. And I would rather lose some seenness and have more discoverability. Because the challenge there for me is, how can I feel seen and understood? How can I be less lonely in this career? Well, if it's not dating only other YouTubers, maybe it's getting comfortable being on my own. And maybe it's trusting myself a little bit. And like, hey, instead of asking 5 other YouTubers, what would you charge for this ad deal? Or how do you do this? Blah, 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 blah. Maybe it's developing my own business acumen and learning for myself. Maybe it's more trial and error. Maybe that's the hard way. But that is the road I've chosen in service of more discoverability and novelty with somebody that I'm dating. Okay? Or it forces me to go out and make female YouTuber friends and go to conventions and deepen those connections. Okay. Instead of being like, well, I'm just gonna fuck where I eat and eat where I fuck and blah, blah, blah. It's just like a one-stop shop. I don't want that. I don't want that because I know where it can lead. Boredom. And I would rather have the road be a little bit harder and have to go out of my comfort zone a little bit to get those needs met and the seenness met than risk torpedoing what could be a great relationship into the boredom doldrums. You know? It's a reason I don't want kids. Kids are boring. No, they're so interesting. Are they? To me, it's like, I mean, it's the boredom of just in the PTA meeting, you have to go to the dentist. It's like, it's the drudgery, you know, it's the relentless drudgery. Yeah, it might be something new every day, but not something cool new as I see it. I mean, parents obviously, you know, have a different view of this. And if I was completely right, no one would have kids. We would all have died out a long time ago. So I get that this is like clearly not everyone's viewpoint. So that's okay, but it is mine. To me, kids seem incredibly stultifying and boring. So I veer away from that. I want a boyfriend where we travel and fuck. Travel and fuck. Hashtag travel and fuck. That's what I like to do, you know? And that's me. Doesn't have to be you. But I am accepting of the trade-offs. So when you are looking at dating a coworker or having a crush, I want you to ask yourself, why? Well, because he's cute. Is this kicking up that evolutionary mateability thing? Is he somehow protecting you? Is that a need that's being met? Are you thinking, oh, he's going to sort of grease the wheels here at my job? He's in good with the boss, so he's going to get me better shifts or a better promotion, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he might, and you belong to him. Not in a way that's a lot of fun. Is he, and listen, this is a huge thing I want to tell you. Is he providing a distraction? A beautiful, shiny, wadded up piece of tinfoil that us, a crow, I love things that are shiny, are batting around in our little claws as a beautiful, pointless distraction. Is that what he is? Do you hate your job? And this is true. Listen, I should have said this at the beginning. I have been speaking in this whole video under the assumption that you like your job and that you want to advance there. And I know for a lot of you, that's not the case. You're in a Cinnabon at the airport type situation, okay? This might not be where you are forever. Let me tell you something, baby girl. The longer you have crushes on your coworkers and date your crushes, the longer you will be at Cinnabon at the airport. I promise you. I fucking promise you. You want to be a lifer on a shift wage? Date people you work with. You are not there to find love. You are not there to make friends. You are there to advance, get the bag, and move the fuck on. That's what you're there for. This is harsh, real talk. But I can tell you, because I started out, when I moved to New York, I was a waitress. And I looked around, and it was fun, but I looked around at the other people I worked with, and I'm like, they're lifers. They're never getting out of here. I'm going to be on Broadway. I'm going to do this. No, you're not. You're a lifer. Okay? Someone's got to do it, but that wasn't going to be me. And I knew if I was going out with them after work and I was getting caught in the drama and I was hooking up, it would pull me down like a tar pit. And I kept my eyes on the prize. I said, I am getting out of here. And in 9 months, I had a Random House book deal. And I was assistant editor at a men's magazine. I was out. And because I could stay focused, and remember, I'm a hoe, very difficult, I kept my eyes on the prize. And yeah, I had to use more energy to be hoeing outside of work. I did. I had to use more energy to avoid the gossip and get my gossip needs met from making other friends. It was more work. It was not a one-stop shop. And for some people, it is, sure. Is that you, though? Are you a lifer? Decisions are yours, man. And the stakes always seem small until you pull back and look at where things go. So these little tiny decisions, spending your lunch break talking to Trevor instead of, I don't know, taking a walk around the block, centering yourself, coming back, doing better at your work, finishing that proposal, getting the promotion, it always seems so small, doesn't it? Until you look around and you see people leapfrogging over you and you're like, well, what are they doing that I'm not? They're not doing Trevor, for fucking starters. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Anything worth having is a sacrifice. Don't you think I would have loved to be hoeing around every job I was at? Of course. I'm lazy. I'm a hoe. But I didn't. I was willing to make that sacrifice. And it sucks. But it paid off. It paid off. And girls who didn't, guess where they are? Exactly where I used to be. So if you're using this man as a distraction because you don't like your job, listen, honey, drugs come in all forms, don't they? They look like a TJ Maxx credit card. Yeah, TJ Maxx shopping rewards. They look like Kohl's Cash. I love Kohl's Cash. They look like cheesecake. They look like, let's just get the queso. Let's open another bottle of wine. They look like a casino. They look like a man. What drugs exist to do is distract us from whatever pain we're feeling. And yeah, the people in society who are the most like clear-cut about that, they go straight for the meth, straight for the oxy, straight for the blow, right? They say real on brand. The rest of us dress it up as something else. Dress it up as something positive. Oh my gosh, I like this guy at work. I know, it's just so great. It'd be so romantic. That man is a bag of shitty cocaine. That's all he is. He's a bag of shitty fentanyl lace baby powder cocaine. If you started looking at him like that, like a really fattening side dish, as a cheap bottle of Rumpelmans from the gas station, would he be so enticing? Could you pull back and say, what am I using this man for? What is he trying to distract me from? He's trying to distract me from the fact that I hate this fucking job, that I hate this job and I'm trapped here. You are trapped. I mean, listen, I can't presume everyone's circumstances, but I can presume that if you're here on this channel, you're probably pretty smart and you probably want more from your life than maybe you've been taught to want, or what people around you have settled for, or even what you've even seen. Do you think I knew any YouTubers? Do you think I knew any editors at magazines? No. I knew, though, what I did see and what I did have some sort of in my heart familiarity with was ambition, was the feeling of, I'm meant for something better than this. It was like being stuck in a job I hated was like wearing a shirt that itched. I'm like, I know not everyone itches like this. I gotta take this off. So what is this man giving to you? And are you brave enough to look at the root of what you need to be distracted from? Maybe you need to go back to school so that you're not working at Cinnabon at the airport. Maybe you need to actually get it together and go for that promotion. Maybe you need to like distance yourself from the queen bees at work and start aligning with people who can teach you more about your industry. But no, you're like, Trevor, the break room. Are you brave enough to do what needs to be done? Or even to start with acknowledging that, okay, there is something that needs to be done. Start there. Okay, there's something that needs to be done. I don't want to be in this job forever. I want to advance. I want to leave this industry. I want to do what I was born to do. Then you got to not attach yourself to a man. And I know it's ironic. We were talking about our evolutionary. It's like that has historically been our survival. So how can you blame us for thinking like to be pulled towards that? But in this sense, the times have changed. Men are not your friend at work. They're not, girl. They are out for themselves because they have been taught that. I didn't come here to make friends. That is how they move through life. And you can see it because a lot of guys don't have a lot of friends. They have money, they have power, they have dreams that they're chasing. And if they don't have those things, they're a failure as a man. They're a failure as a man. I don't want to be around a man who has a lot of friends and no ambition. Get the fuck out of here. I have friends and ambition. I don't need you. It's disgusting. A man at work is not your friend. He might protect you a little, but doesn't that just infantilize you? You need protection. You can't stand up for yourself. Maybe you can't. Okay. Maybe the answer is not to like get a man to protect you because you're a little baby. Maybe the answer is get the fuck out of that job and go to a job where someone is going to appreciate you. Start your own shop, whatever it might be. The answer in life is almost never attach yourself to a man. Almost never. The only times I can think that that is truly the answer, honestly, is if it's like something logistical, like you're snowmobiling and you break a chain and you need a man to come help you. Like they're blue collar things. Like I flipped my truck in a snowbank. I need a man with a diesel engine. I hit an elk. There's a wolf outside my door or even a raccoon. I need a man. I mean, honestly, other than that, I don't, it's just, and I love men. I love men. But the answer to fixing our own life and becoming happy and independent is never about a dude. And that sucks. Sucks so much. Because it'll be so much easier. Because there's men everywhere. I can see one from there's two out there right now. Just like, oh, it'd be so simple. If that's all we had to do is just please a man. Just dicks everywhere, you know? But unfortunately, that's not the case. Unfortunately, we are modern enough to know that, God, we gotta please ourselves, don't we? We have dreams in our heart that we have to fulfill. There's only so many hours in the day. There's only so much energy currency. Who are you spending on? Trevor in the break room? Are you spending it on yourself? And I know you can't see the payoff right now. It seems small. But think of it like you think of spending and eating. Yeah, those little decisions, the queso, the TJ Maxx, like checkout line mug that you buy, it all adds up. It adds up. And it sucks because it means we have to have constant vigilance over everything we do. Seriously? Yeah, I know. I know. But when we start to see it pay off, when we go for that promotion, we're like, hell yes. We don't even necessarily connect all the guys we didn't flirt with in the break room. When we see that number on the scale, do we remember the queso we didn't order? No, we're just like, oh, I didn't order and it sucked in the moment, but it evaporates into time. Are you still like shaking your fist at God because you didn't get that TJ Maxx checkout mug that looks like a gnome? No, you forget. All you see are the results of the fruits of your labor. And that is what I want you to focus on. You want to have a dream in your heart? You want to have something you're visualizing? It's not the wedding to bitch ass Trevor. It is the corner office. It's the number on the scale. It's the bank balance. It's the paid off credit card. That is what you visualize. Fuck a wedding. Fuck a man. Fuck a happy ending. You are your own happy endings. This is what we give to ourselves. We don't wait to be fed our happy endings. We create them. I want to know what you guys have to say. Have you dated a coworker? How has it gone? Are you married to one now? What are the pros and cons? Would you do it again? Would you encourage your best friend to do it, your daughter to do it? Like, tell me, do you think that there's an industry where it's very unwise to do this? Is there an industry where it's smarter? You know, my mom was a nurse and she saw a lot of her friends marry doctors. Oof, doctors. A lot of bodily fluid, a lot of God complex. Let me know what you guys think. Also, like I said, Evil Week is available on the Shallon Entourage, and we have an Evil Week video on how to seize power at work. So if you don't know where to begin, I'll give you a good primer. Plus a video on how to fake innocence when really your motives are a little less than pure. Click the link down below for the Shallon Entourage to join and get free access, plus all my sexy session hookup tutorials, because who doesn't want to be good in bed and evil? And if you don't want to be pure evil, if you want to be a little good as well, please donate to Donors Choose to fund kids' classrooms with things like snacks and warm hats and gloves, Jerry Beth Silva's fundraiser to rescue dogs in Venezuela, and Kids Saving the Rainforest, a charity that helps rainforest animals in Costa Rica. I'll see you later, Shalligator.